Have you ever found yourself completely stuck? Facing a choice where every single option feels wrong, and what you want to do is in a head-on collision with what you feel you have to do? Well, it's a feeling as old as time. And today, we're going to dig into a really powerful answer to that very dilemma, one that comes to us from some pretty ancient wisdom. So our story kicks off on a battlefield. But the real war, the one that matters here, is happening inside the mind of one man, the legendary warrior Arjuna. I mean, look at him. His job is to fight. It's his duty. But the army he's supposed to fight, it's filled with his own family, his cousins, his teachers, people he loves. The text says he's just completely bewildered about his duty. His whole spirit is crushed. He's paralyzed. What would you even do in that situation?
Arjuna's crisis is, on this huge epic scale. But that feeling, we all know that feeling. It could be a really tough call you have to make at work, or maybe a painful conflict with your family. It's those moments when our duties are pulling us in a million different directions at once, and there's just no easy answer. So when the path forward is a total fog, where do you even start to look for a map?
Well, the guidance for Arjuna, and for us, comes from an incredible ancient Indian text, the Bhagavad Gita. And the answer it gives isn't some simple life hack. No, it's a whole new way to think about action itself. It's a concept called karma yoga, which is basically the path of selfless action. It's all about finding your Dharma, your own righteous duty, and then acting on it in a very specific way.
Okay, so here's the absolute heart of the idea. Karma yoga isn't really about what you do, it's about why you're doing it. The teaching is to perform your duty, whatever it is, to the absolute best of your ability. But, and this is the part that changes everything, you have to let go of the results. Whether you succeed or fail or get praised or get blamed, none of that can be your motivation. The only goal is to do the right thing just because it's the right thing to do.
I just love how direct this is. It doesn't say, oh, just meditate and hope for the best. Nope. It says, go on efficiently doing your duty. Action is key. But the power, the real freedom, is in that mindset, without attachment. Just think about it for a second. How much of our stress and anxiety comes from worrying about how things will turn out? This philosophy suggests that true peace comes from focusing all our energy on the work itself, not the prize at the end.
And here's why this isn't just a personal spiritual practice, it affects everyone around us. This is basically saying that when people in positions of influence act, others watch and follow. Think about a manager, a parent, a politician, or any kind of leader. The standard they set with their actions becomes the new normal for everybody else. So, acting selflessly isn't just about finding your own inner peace, it's about setting a standard that can literally help build a better world.
Okay, so this all sounds really profound, right? But what does it actually look like when someone lives this way? It's one thing to talk about selfless action, but it's a whole other thing to actually do it, especially when things get tough. To really get it, let's look at a story of an ideal king who pretty much turned this whole philosophy into a masterclass in leadership.
So let's meet King Prithu. You can think of him as the ultimate case study for a selfless leader. He didn't just inherit a peaceful, prosperous kingdom. He inherited a world that was falling apart, a world in total chaos. And his story shows us what karma yoga looks like when the stakes are about as high as they can possibly get.
So, Prithu takes the throne, and the world is basically a wasteland. The earth itself, which is often shown as a cow in these stories, has just stopped providing. There's famine everywhere. People are starving. As the king, his duty, his dharma, is crystal clear. He has to save his people. And he doesn't panic. He doesn't throw a pity party for himself. He just sees his duty, and he gets to work.
And just look at his strategy here. It's brilliant. First, he establishes order out of the chaos. Then, and I find this part fascinating, he doesn't just command the earth to obey him. He persuades her. He treats the planet like a partner, not something to be plundered. And finally, he organizes society, building cities, creating trade, so that everyone can benefit. Every single step here is about service and sustainability, not about personal glory or power.
And the results of all this selfless, duty-focused hard work? A total transformation. The barren land becomes fertile again, civilization flourishes, and people are thriving. This isn't depicted as some kind of magic trick. It's shown as the natural, logical outcome when a leader puts the well-being of the world ahead of their own ego. It is karma yoga in action. So we've got these two incredible stories, right? We have Arjuna, who's frozen in place by his personal attachments, and we have Prithu, who is set free by his commitment to duty. So what's the big takeaway? What's the timeless lesson here for us
living in our own complicated world.
It really all boils down to this. Arjuna was trapped because he couldn't stop thinking about the painful results of his actions. Karma Yoga offered him a way out. Change your focus. Stop worrying about the outcome and just focus on doing the right action. And King Prithu, he is the perfect example of that. He focused only on his duty to his people, and the result was a prosperous world. The message is actually pretty simple but incredibly powerful. The way to overcome our own internal battles and actually make a difference is through selfless action.
So all this ancient wisdom really leaves us with a very modern question. Let's forget about ancient kings and warriors for a second. Let's talk about you. In your life, right here, right now, what is your righteous duty? What's your Dharma? And maybe the bigger question is, can you do it without being attached to the outcome? Can you focus on just doing the right thing for its own sake? The answer to that, well, that could change everything.